Welcome to a farmer's mid-morning show right here from County 034. Joto imepunguka bana.
Joto imeenda.
Yes.
Imeingia.
Kabisa. Wow. Wow. Hey. Interesting. This is another day, a very different day from what we've been asking for. Now we are talking about COP27. The first week of COP27 has gone. We are in the second week. More discussions going on. We want to know what are the expectations of the world versus the leaders' agenda. You know, tomorrow I will be speaking on a panel, though virtually, on food waste, but most importantly about climate. You know, the climate is climate. You know, and the very interesting thing that I was talking to some guys. I was having some media interviews with guys at COP, and they're like, it's the same thing. The same things. Weekend ilikuwaje?
Weekend ilikuwa mzuri.
Hebu tuambie ile visanga nini? SGR.
Visanga mingi zinafanyika every day. And I'm sure people really go through a lot here in Kenya, but they keep quiet.
Yeah.
You see, if you are having issues in Kenya, you know, people are, you know, you remove your
Natoa, yes.
You know, utaki kujiuliza, kuuliza nini mbaya. So I'm dropped at SGR. I was rushing to Kibwezi.
Yes.
Not even Kibwezi. It's a place we are doing a project next to the border of Tanzania and Kenya. So it's a Mali a place called Machinery.
Yes, Machinery. I know Machinery.
Oh, you know Machinery?
Ukipita Kibwezi kidogo tu. Mbele kidogo unaingia huko ndani. Yes.
We see Mount Kilimanjaro like
yes. Again ndani?
Ndani. See, we do projects in very remote places. So we stop. Now my wife stops for me. I get my bags. I tell her, you chomoka. Kumbe there's a cop.
Amekaa na kuwinda.
He's coming very fast. Java is on his way coming, bana. Misses the car. Now pounces on me, eh? Oh, you guys you guys are being dropped, eh? Where you're not supposed to be dropped, okay?
Akanishika.
Mazee, do you know the guy removes handcuffs? And all this time, me, I'm quiet. I'm taken to the holding area, the police.
Yes.
I don't even know what this guy is charging me for. He's there with me. Me, I'm seated. I'm waiting. Thank God it was early. They don't even know. You know, I'm there. They don't even know what to write in the OB. They don't have my details.
They don't have the number plate of the car.
They don't have the number plate of the car. They don't have my driver's license. They don't even have, you know, I told them I'm called Joseph. Unaitwaje? Joseph. Na naandika chini hivi. Sasa wewe Joseph. Wewe sasa. And then he realizes there's nothing, sijashtuka, you know, like in Kenya you need to chomoka, to shtuka. So
He wanted you to kuchoboa cash haraka haraka.
Yes. No, he actually told me, not charging you. I'm taking you to station. Search for cash bond of 10,000 shillings. So that you are released. No, release cash bond of 10,000 shillings. This cash bond of 10,000 shillings.
Yes.
We agree when we are meeting in court.
Do you agree? It's supposed to be standard.
Yeah, we agree. You go on your trip. We agree. I told him, where is 10,000 found? I told him, with this economy, where is the 10,000 shillings being found?
Ivisanga kabisa.
Yeah,
you call the guy. So you're the guy who knows the guy who knows the guy.
You see what happens, eh? They've kept me there until 7:20, 7:30. I hear that sound, eh? Kwa wale ambao wanasafiri.
So panic.
So I'm like, okay. And then he takes me to the OCS, a big guy. Tells me, these are the people who cause obstruction at SGR, the parking. I don't know what he said.
Yes.
So the OCS was, what are you doing with this guy? Can you book him at Kibwezi? Take him now.
At Kibwezi?
Yeah, not Kibwezi. What do you call that place? Mavoko. All this time, I knew if I opened my mouth, that girl shouting, things could have gone.
That was the Visanga.
So I just, I've seen these guys are wasting my time.
Yes.
So they are wasting my time. Called a guy who knows a guy. You know those called a guy who knows a guy.
The guy who knows a guy.
I'm telling you, I don't know what this, and thank you very much. I hope he's watching. I know he follows me secretly. Do you know whoever he calls, whatever he did?
Yes.
Whatever happened.
Ujamaa alishtuka.
Do you know the cop came? Wapi bag? Where's your bag? Karen, he didn't even talk. Walked, took me past the luggage where they checked the luggage. They checked my luggage very fast. Took me up to check-in. You know where they put those tickets? There, he left me there. Suko sawa? Yeah. Why don't we talk? Why didn't we talk? Why didn't you talk? Why do you make calls?
Sometimes you don't want to talk. Sometimes you provoke us.
And you say whoever was called scared the living hell out of these people.
Sometimes we don't want to talk.
And
anyway, let us know how your weekend was. Getting into this, we want to understand what is happening at COP27. Let us know if you have any questions, if you have any specific questions that you have for us, and anybody who is actually doing this, let us know. Again, if you have any questions. We are talking about today and what is happening today. Very interesting, Daktari. A lot is going on, whether we like it or not. Whatever is going on right now is affecting production. We are seeing very few farmers going back to the farms. We don't know what is going to happen. The most important thing that we have to ask ourselves is, what is the expectations? What are your expectations out of COP27?
Nothing much. I will tell you the truth. Nothing much. I was even hearing from people online, those who are attending. I have a friend who's there attending COP. It's the same thing, same thing over and over. We are committing to alternatives in combating global climate change.
Yes.
But what is very interesting is that World Bank said it commits a lot of money in financing climate change. 35%, but unfortunately we don't know where that money goes to, even if it is committed. But we are so same issues over.
Same old.
Yes,
same old.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we want to see whether or not we should have any major expectations, and we are getting into the discussion now, and we want you to let us know what you are expecting from COP27, but most importantly, who are you expecting, what you're expecting from?
What are we expecting from? It's the same problem over.
Remember to follow us on social media handles at Farmers Media on YouTube. Remember to subscribe as well and get some of the updates that we have on Twitter at @farmers_media and at @farmers as well on Instagram. And the hashtag for today for this discussion is climate change, climate action. First of all, before we go here, we want to see what are the traffic updates that we have courtesy of Ma3 route. I don't know if we can actually have that up. But hey, it's interesting. You rarely get traffic now, these days.
Who has the money to fuel the car?
Oh, Niapo. Okay, interesting.
Where is the money going to in this country?
Really? Iko chini sana. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if it is. So we are seeing a school bus belonging to Oshol Academy in Nairobi has stalled. We are seeing it has stalled within Nairobi CBD. So NTSA, NPCC. Okay, there's also an accident that has happened at Blue Post again. Let us know of any accidents and incidences. We go to our live map to see the situation on the ground. Very interesting. Within Nairobi, where we are right now. So within Nairobi Expressway, Mombasa Road, in and around Mombasa Road, it is clear, very, very clear. It is not like it has happened before here. The other one that we are looking at is Westlands in and out. Inbound we see some traffic, slow but moving. Thika Road, let's go to Thika Road now. Thika Road inakwanga na kazi yake tu. Yeah. You just wonder, Thika Road just decides now it's going to have traffic.
Yesterday I traveled from Aga Khan to here Kitengela.
And when somebody travel?
No travel. I drove. We're in two different counties. Took me 30 minutes.
From Aga Khan?
Aga Khan to Kitengela.
Really? There was no traffic.
Completely no
hakuna pesa kuweka mafuta. And we are hearing it. You're the one who's telling me today, yeah? They are increasing. Itaongezeka kidogo.
Oh, it's on 14th, 13th, 14th.
Yes.
Oh, today. Brace yourself, Cross your fingers. We might be expecting some shock. Yeah? Hey. Last time they closed our eyes by 1 shilling, 1 shilling cut. While our neighboring country, Uganda, they cut it by 10 shillings, yeah.
Well, you got a 10 bob.
Yeah, 10 bob is a lot in fuel.
Very interesting. We have our weather forecast. We can put it up as well. We have Nairobi, cloudy and sunny intervals, lows of 15, highs of 23. Mombasa as well, sunny intervals. Jua kama kawaida, maximum highs of 31 degrees. Kisumu is raining, but the temperatures at lows of 19, highs of 27. Eldoret, quite sunny intervals. Nakuru, sunny intervals. Nyeri has started raining. Marsabit is raining of all places. Very interesting. Again, Makindu raining with some sunny intervals. Moyale raining. It's very interesting that Moyale, Wajir, Marsabit, it's raining.
Let me tell you something real quick, yeah? Do you know, I was traveling with the SGR from Nairobi all the way to Makueni, whatever.
Yes.
I want to tell you how people are so confused about this climate change. Do you know people actually cultivating right now?
They're preparing to plant.
From all the way from Mati River to all of Eastern Province, people with their cows and their bulls on the farm. Right. But what we are not being told is that this rain is going to be not so sufficient for agricultural purposes.
No, it can't. Because if you look at it, the first rain should have come the last week of October for breaking ground, preparation and all that.
You see, like the rain that rained today morning actually lies to farmers. People think it rained.
In Kitengela.
Coming this way from...
kupunguza vumbi.
Kupunguza vumbi. Do you know the problem is?
Yes.
I do not know what's happening to the extension workers in this country. They're not, like we talked last week, they're not working hand in hand with Kenya Meteorological Department, telling these people, you know what, you'll plant, but be very cautious about what you're planting.
Interesting, and we'll be sharing that about that. We can still have the weather up. We see that very interesting. I don't know if you can zoom in. Voi, Wajir, it is raining. Marsabit, it is raining. Kitui, it's raining. Narok, it's raining. Hey, you know, now my biggest concern, and as you mentioned, it's okay now. I think the biggest concern about the extension services is that they feel that what I have seen is that they are not equipped enough. because I don't even know, or either they're not equipped or that's not their work. Probably they think that the work of informing about the rains is the work of the environment department.
Very sad.
Which equally does not do much as well. Yeah, so again, for those who have joined, those who are watching, this is a farmer's mid-morning show. We are talking about world expectations versus the leader's agenda. I was reading what our president Uhuru. I was listening to his speech at COP27, and he's like very specific, which now actually something that is being voiced by most African nations, is that the African nations should actually be paid for the impacts, because they're feeling the impact of climate change from the industrialized countries. What do you think about that?
That is the same. That's exactly what African nations, when they're to lament, not only Africa, all the countries in the global south, are lamenting that they are the worst affected financially because of the impact of climate change, which is which is quite true. I was reading about those the Maasai women who went there to complain that there is nothing, the climate is really impacting us, until they saw what is happening in Egypt and the way people are doing irrigation. That's when they realized yeah. So it's really funny that the global north, or the industrialized nations, are really shy about giving African nations funds that were also agreed in the Paris Agreement, and then the industrialization is still going on. I mean, a lot of industrial activity is still going on in
and really harming the environment.
Very much harming. It's harming the environment, and nothing much is being done. We'll be having these conventions yearly, year in, year out, coming up with policies that are not being implemented.
But do you think these pledges because I'm not hearing pledges. I'm hearing discussions being started. Discussions. We are going through the same challenge, and do you think that the global north is going to follow up on the commitments?
They should.
Because what happened in Glasgow COP26? What happened, and now we're still the same thing.
Yeah, what I really know is that Joe Biden, from his speech, said there's a lot of commitment that the US is going to do in trying to, coming up with the commitment. Whatever Biden did, told all the funds that Biden has set aside can compensate to what could be set aside from 2015 probably to 2018. That fund that US is now putting to fight the global climate change, which is very good, with his administration really acknowledging the climate impact to sustainability of agriculture, especially in developing nations.
Yes.
But one thing you also have to be clear is that one thing that the world also has to know, especially developing nations, is that the World Bank has set aside 35% of its lending to combat climate change. And this lending can be done in climate smart activities such as climate smart agriculture.
Yes.
Of which one of the representatives in the meeting was telling has not been highlighted so much. People are just going to the funds.
People are going to the funds. Apart from the funds, people also talking about they're not talking about the carbon credits.
Yeah, the carbon credits, which is
and how is it calculated? But that's something that let us know if you have been enrolled in the carbon credits. The discussion to do with pledges is very different. There's a guy who's a friend of mine called Calvin Keter, and he actually said that after all those things that you do, design sprint, all those things that you keep on doing, proposal writing and all that, if you're not making money, you're not in business.
Yeah,
if you're calling us COP27 is in Egypt, it's in Africa, but we're not seeing the benefits of things like carbon credit, because the carbon credits organizations are headquartered in the global north.
I don't think it's much. It's just the information, the dissemination of information. I know people are making very good money out of carbon credit sales
locally. Are they? How is it translated into smallholder farmers?
It goes because I know a farmer who's used carbon credit to empower the whole community. He's built boreholes. He's still doing lots of agricultural activities, especially in tree tree farming. Out of carbon credit, he told me that he gets about 13 million Kenya shillings
every year.
Yeah.
How big is the farm?
The farm is quite big. I think we'll invite him one of these fine
Yeah,
days.
you should.
He's
But
very good
but on a layman's language, what is carbon credit?
It's quite hard to explain.
How do you explain
what I'll explain is that each country has been given a quota on carbon emission in the whole world, from the developing countries to the developed and industrialized country.
Yes.
So out of each quota, for example, each country has been given quota on its carbon emission.
Okay.
But there are countries that do a lot of carbon emission. Now, in that situation, Kenya, a country like Kenya, let me give you.
Wait, you're using a very hard word to explain a very hard word.
Yeah.
You said carbon
credits.
What is
carbon emission?
What is carbon emission?
Carbon emission.
And what is the difference between carbon emission and the greenhouse gases?
Okay, definitely greenhouse gases. Okay, we'll use carbon emission as a bigger part of the pollution.
So emission is the pollution.
Yes.
The emitting
release of gases that are harmful to the atmosphere.
So emission is just a word like emission.
Yes.
You can emit anything.
You release, gases. Yeah.
Okay.
So we have gases, dangerous gases like CFS, the chlorofluorocarbons.
Yes.
And we also have just a basic carbon from waste. Yeah.
And when you talk about greenhouse gases, is it gases that are coming out from greenhouses?
No. You'll mislead the common farmer.
Let me ask you a question. What is greenhouse gases? First, is it gases coming out from greenhouses?
No. So why they call it greenhouse gases?
Yes.
These are just gases that create what we call the carbon effect. Okay, I don't know. I can
hold that thought.
Somebody out there, can you in the comment section?
Yes,
hold that. Explain to a layman, because I'll explain like a teacher how carbon. You know those what happens with a greenhouse effect.
Yes.
Is where the carbon levels have gone back to saying carbon. Somebody help me here.
We will take a short break, and when we come back, we will talk about what is carbon credit and carbon emission. Take a short break.
Dumping Western knowledge or Western ideas in Africa. You cannot develop a solution for Africa from a laboratory in Europe or in the States. In Africa, we have the solutions. What we don't have is the financing. There are so many innovations that will solve a lot of Africa's problems if only they could be financed. Our governments don't support local innovation. We have I don't know, someone asks you, we've had customers come here. We had one customer from a Kenyan who was working in South Africa, came here and said that they like the technology, but they'd heard that it was from South Africa and they haven't seen it in South Africa. And we said, no, actually it's from Kenya. And immediately their wallet went straight back in their pocket and they left. Kenyans don't trust Kenyans. We don't have any, Kenya innovation doesn't have any support from the Kenya government. So we need Africa to support African innovation. The solutions are right here. We need our education system to stop with the colonial education system. We're reading history books and stuff that is irrelevant to us today. We need to learn about what is relevant to Africa today. How do we get into, let's stop using farming as a punishment for the students. Go outside and dig the farm because you didn't do your homework. It's got to be looked at as a very dignified profession. We've got to stop with the chemicals, stop with the GMOs. That, I think, is the message we need to drive to our current government, not even at the COP27 event. And also, our government we need to stop importing chemicals. something in the region of 40 to 50% of the aggregate chemicals we have in our stores are banned in the countries where they are manufactured. How hypocritical is that? That you produce a chemical, it's banned in your own country because it's bad for the soil, bad for the water, bad for the people, but you're allowed to export it to a developing country like Africa or like Asia. I mean, it is ridiculous. If something is banned in the country of manufacture, it should be banned globally. The international world, the international trade should prevent anybody from exporting something that they will not use at home. It is criminal that they're being allowed to export stuff that they will not use at home themselves. Yeah, so we really need to focus on, we do have numerous resources that we can get ourselves out of poverty. We need political will, and we need the West to stop trying to dump technologies on us. I was at the AfroCities meeting. The AfroCities meeting was so expensive to attend that hardly any African exhibitors were there. All of the people were there, all the African delegates, all the governments sent their delegates to the meeting. I got a chance to present through a French organization. I was very, very happy that they allowed me. They were actually in Uganda, and they reached out to me and asked me if I would do a talk. I got a standing ovation when I demonstrated our recycle center in a PowerPoint presentation. Everyone else at that meeting was people from Europe, people from the States, dumping technology on Africa. Technologies that doesn't work for them there, and they think it's going to come and work for us here. It's all business. It's not about finding solutions. It's about making money out of ignorance of people. That has to stop. We need to start focusing on which solutions work, which ones can be scaled, and let's fix our own problems at home.
Welcome back to a Farmers Beat Morning Show right here. Your host, Noana Seli Kadima, and one Daktari, Dr. Robert Mwakio. Dr. Mwakio, you went to school to become a doctor.
Can you imagine?
Let us go to a newspaper review as we prepare to hear more about carbon credits and greenhouse gases. Let us know what you think about greenhouse gases. I think we can create a poll on our social media platforms on what are greenhouse gases. But before that, are the greenhouse gases, there's a talk of greenhouse.
Hey,
so let us look at the in our local dailies. The Nation has a very interesting story. I think you had highlighted this. Is that World Bank will ensure good use of climate funds. Is that possible?
Unless they have very strict ways of auditing. It's all about auditing.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So Lenders Climate Change Director says bank is keen to ensure the transition from fossil fuels to developing countries, the global south in general. And then there's something very interesting here is that actually the same topic, it was just, what has caught my eye here is very interesting because we're talking about carbon credits. But before talking about carbon credits themselves, there's a question that Jennifer Sarah, who's the global director for World Bank Group's climate change, on the skepticism surrounding climate finance, among other issues. She actually said that there's a part that I was reading here. She said that as World Bank, we have a special window for refugees, which has softer terms. It is almost grant financing. We see a lot of displaced people are staying beyond what would be called a crisis. So we have camps being transformed into basically cities. What I'm asking about that, this is because of war, definitely, but also because of drought.
Yes.
Because most people are living in rural homes, homes coming into the cities, trying to do that, to get that done. even leaving some countries coming into the country. Do you think that this climate change can help solve these issues?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you remember our discussion on the money, the financing part as a way of curbing climate change.
Yes.
As long as there's availability of funds to mitigate, I mean, these things are very viable. Remember, this is a grant given to mitigate. Now, grants given to projects such as irrigation can be very viable. I mean, it's a way of mitigating climate effects of climate change. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. And then we've also seen some protests going on at COP27, and these protests are very loud because they're specifically talking about you cause the drought and famine. We are facing the challenges. We don't have the money. We don't have the capacity. We don't have the ability. Why are we still meeting in these things? And as we discussed that. There's a very interesting topic that is also coming in. The same, touching on the same financing bit, that Kenya has actually been recognized. Kenya awarded for climate financing. When you talk about climate financing, each of these winners will be able to receive 1.8 million to increase their capacity to help communities to be climate resilient. Where's the disconnect between what private sector, what individuals are doing, and what government is doing, plus with the funding that is available?
Yeah, what's happening with the Kenya, that is the climate financing. It's actually by a Global Center on Adaptation, through the Adaptation Consortium.
Yes.
So what they did, they've recognized Kenya as a nation, way of channeling money to combat climate change adversity,
Yes.
How do they do it? Through devolution. We've realized that Kenya as a country has set aside funds for devolution, and part of the fund is combating global climate change and its effect in regions, in the ASAL regions like Marsabit, Kajiado, Turkana. So that is why Kenya has been recognized, because of that devolution channel, of which the common person at the ground, the ASAL regions, are able to benefit from these funds. So when this is a private initiative, this is a private entity, not a governmental entity, but it can be able to identify that countries that are doing quite much in mitigating on their own without seeking funds from developing nations, and Kenya has done proud in that.
So now let me ask you, 1.8 million shillings, what do you think can be done with that?
Dollars, I think.
No, it's $15,000, so it's 1.8 million shillings.
Oh, shillings.
Each of them, yes. So my question is, is it the publicity? What do you think is the easiest way of passing on this information? Because I think that is where some of the disconnect comes in there. Yeah.
There are some organizations that are really observing what's going on, even the little things that you do, like this consortium. It's been able to recognize the government of Kenya's commitment in global change and mitigating.
So those are the basic steps that now we're making. We are seeing some of this money before 20 carbon credit.
Though I'm wondering what can 1.5 million do?
Exactly. So that's what I'm asking. Is it the publicity bit?
What is it probably exactly? Publicity.
Interesting. We're underusing our water. Say Maasai women at COP27. Very interesting. In fact, what I was learning is that the water. There are very many issues affecting, because right now Marsabit it's raining. Wajir has been raining, almost flooding, but that water goes.
Yeah, it goes.
So when it comes to now the specifics, there's something here highlighted here that Indigenous Information Network, under that auspices, again this is courtesy of the Daily Nation, is that they are saying that women are in this desert resort city on a serious mission to learn and talk about effects and impacts of climate change.
Do you know these ladies were really perplexed, yeah? They were saying they come from the ASAL regions of Kenya, right? Then they went to Sharm el Sheikh, a desert,
sand,
pure sand now.
Yes.
But they were shocked that there's a lot of agricultural activities going on in that desert.
Only 6% of Egypt is arable.
Yes.
But now they've converted the
they
desert.
were
Yes.
shocked. That's why the heading there says that there's a lot of just read the headline.
We are underusing our water, say Maasai women at COP27.
Yes.
Very interesting.
Right now it's raining, and this rain is very unreliable.
Yes.
This rain, it comes 1 week, disappears. Comes, disappears.
Them they don't have rain. Egypt.
They do not have rain. Even if it's rainy, it's those flash floods that come up and disappear in the sand.
Very interesting. And there's something that she's actually saying. This is Lucy Lemiso, who says that, however, it is not all gloom and doom. I hear delegates proposing solutions for water harvesting, construction of dams, and planting of trees at individual level. I have learned how to convert my livestock into cash cows instead of waiting for the drought to kill them. Very interesting.
Did I tell you?
Yes.
A Maasai neighbor of mine came and told me that I have about 10 cows.
Yes.
I want to give you for free, just to say,
why?
You are a mkulima, you are a doctor in farming. You understand. Instead of them dying, I can give it to you. They're okay. Do whatever you want. But it's much loss them dying. It's the emotional attachment they have to the cows.
Do you think it will ever end?
No, I mean it's getting worse.
This story is reminding me of one of our friends as well. She's called Madam Jacqueline Cohen, who's the CEC of Agriculture. I don't know if in Kajiado County. I don't know if you have any of her clips up. And she's very passionate about what is happening. She's very passionate about the conversion, in terms of forage feeding, things like fodder growing, but also the alternatives, which is beekeeping, which is really championed. First of all, even in terms of forage feeding and forming cooperatives of farmers, she's been a champion in making sure that we have the dairy cooperatives in Kajiado, and these dairy cooperatives are really minting a lot of money. But also now, in terms of on the flip side, also she's asking why. Actually, a tagline that we normally remember her with is from relief to resilience. In that, why are we bringing hay from other parts of the country? Why can't we grow hay ourselves and have the hay barns and make sure that we are really fully stocked in case it doesn't rain? What are your thoughts about it now that I'm just looking at it in line with Esther Sakari, who's talking about preserving water, but also making sure that whatever little we get is in good use.
You see, they're getting the knowledge out there. The CECs are there. They have all the budget to train these ladies instead of them going to get shocked. Some of them are from Kajiado County. You see.
Yes.
And it's shameful for them to go and see people farming in the desert.
But let me ask you, do you think it's a part of who is fooling who? Because there's a lot of money being put out there in agriculture. Yes. A lot of money. I see a lot of startups being started in agriculture, but you don't see what they're doing.
The money, the trickle down.
Is it that they're not tasked to talk about this?
And then, something I've also realized is Kenyans are very selfish with information.
So is that the reason why these ladies are going out there to be shocked?
They're getting they're getting you've never seen it. I think you need to travel around. You've seen in your farm. You'll be doing good farming, but your neighbor has land, is not doing anything.
Yeah, you see, like the clip that you're seeing right now is actually from a tour where Kajiado County farmers, Kajiado Beekeepers Cooperative actually was able to go and visit Kitui to learn, to benchmark, only to realize that we are doing much better in terms of production of honey and all that. So my question is, who is fooling who in terms of this? For example, I have not heard the Minister of Agriculture speak the last 1 week about any next steps. I've not seen them talking about it. I'm not seeing an active caucus of parliamentarians in agriculture. I'm not seeing the Senate talking about it. It is the president who's actually running around a lot. And we can see from the 126 meetings that he has had in 60 days, most of these meetings are actually distribution of relief food. I have not seen him actually engaging with farmers directly.
You see, the disconnect here is the devolution, the devolve agriculture from the central government to the county level, yeah?
Yes.
We still have that Ministry of Agriculture that's supposed to coordinate directly with the county governments. Now, information between the common farmer and the county government. Now it depends with the structure of the county government.
I tend to disagree on that because long time we used to have the local government. Remember the local, there was a minister actually in charge of local government, which technically is the Ministry of Devolution now, which again President Ruto actually scrapped it. And the local government, municipal councils, used to remit money to national government.
Yes.
So if that was the case, remember this was being collected not as tax but as money to national government. Now the national government is already setting up a Ministry of Agriculture, which is there. So there's Ministry of Agriculture, there's Environment, there's can talk about probably bring in irrigation as well. But also to add on to this, there's also Ministry of Cooperatives. Okay, so my question is, if indeed agriculture has been devolved, why is it that we are not seeing the actual impact is being felt at national level?
Yes.
So why is it that it cannot be an initiative of the national government to actually initiate even meetings with, because I don't know, but I've not heard the Minister of Agriculture calling a meeting with all CCs.
Yes, but now, what is the channel that they're supposed to use? You see, each county government has its own policies, yeah? It has structures, it has its way of operating. You cannot talk about farming in Muranga and the kind of farming you do in Kajiado, because Muranga, maybe we're talking about dairy farming. Kajiado has different policies on doesn't have policies on dairy. Now, if the central government is to come down to the county level, they need to have proper guidelines, proper consultative meetings. Now, there are funds that are set aside through the governor, and somebody told me that some governors don't pay too much attention. Most of the county governments don't put much budget in agriculture.
In fact, to get a county government that is more than 4% allocation to agriculture is a mystery. Again, that's another question that we're asking those who are watching us. What is the allocation of agriculture in terms of the county allocation?
Yeah.
On the point that you've raised that one for allocation, should it be we have the Malabo Declaration, where or any form of government, whether it is local, municipal, or national government, or African regional, was supposed to dedicate 10% of their budget.
That's the Maputo Declaration.
Yes, the Maputo Declaration. What do you think? Who is supposed to be tasked with that? Isn't it then supposed to be, like, for example, we have KEMSA. You see, KEMSA, still the county governments engage with KEMSA, but KEMSA is a regulating body.
Yeah.
And yet, what is it called? And yet the Ministry of Health is still there, at national level, and yet health has been devolved as well.
Yeah.
What can we do different for agriculture? Because should we have some specific parastatals tasked with engaging the county government?
Do you know that if you can start counting the number of parastatals
in agriculture,
you will be shocked. There are wastewater.
No, I mean, as we talk about this, and we talk about COP27 as well, just remember that I don't know, I am not privy to any information, but I have not heard our Minister of Agriculture speaking at COP27.
I think they gave out, they were well represented by the president. All information that the ministry had or was probably shared to the president's speech.
Should he be there to be able to, even with some of the CCs? Because I have not seen...
No, it depends now with the delegation that joined the president to...
But I've also not seen CCs in agriculture or even environment from county governments go at COP.
That shows the
level of commitment. Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's something else that we should also be looking at. Wow. Wow.
There's something that you talked about cooperatives, yeah?
Yes.
Very interesting news that came from Tharaka Nithi in the county section, yeah?
Yes.
Of how the farmers in Tharaka Nithi, the avocado farmers have managed to beat cartels.
Yes. 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 Yeah, it is. Yes. In Chuka. Eh?
Yeah, Chuka, Tharaka Nithi.
Oh, very interesting, by the way. Yes, they have been. Hey, yeah, they buy avocado at 15 bob.
Yeah, they buy at 5 shillings from the farmer, and they sell it
At 20
shillings. Can you imagine a farmer? And then what they were saying, they were really smart. They take they come to you. They're like, this avocado looks bad. In fact, it will just because they have studied the international market, they've studied the standards. The common farmer doesn't understand. That's why I'm talking about information is very vital. So they've been taking advantage of the farmers. They buy at 5 shillings and sell at 20 shillings. See the difference? And then they lie to the farmers that most of these avocados won't even be sold, will just be thrown. So we either leave it with you or we buy. I've seen that happening to some of the fish farmers, some farmers I have I've done farming, fish farming, pond farming for them.
Yes.
These cartels and these brokers are very bad. Do you know you have about 1,000 fish in your pond?
Yes.
You're thinking that you'll sell them at 300 shillings
Per fish.
per fish. Probably they're a kg plus, yeah. So you're expecting 300,000. But a broker will come, will tell you, I'll buy this at 90 shillings, or if it's bad, 80 bob per each. And then you're told, and then he tells you, you know what?
Yes.
If you don't sell it, I will go buy the Chinese one.
You know, we actually seeing, there's a video that is actually being played there. And it's a very interesting video about fish and the cage farming. And before we even go there, you've highlighted something very important here in terms of safeguarding our blue economy. And this safeguarding the blue economy, it has to go down to the farmers. Farmers have to benefit from this. And for me, that is where I draw the line. If any invention, if anything is coming, if anything looks as good as it sounds, and it's not as good and effective to the smallholder farmers, hapo iko ukora.
Yeah, that's why they tell people before they rush into investing a lot of money into a project, you need to have information firsthand. You see, of this farmer, this guy was complaining yesterday on TV that he put about $20,000 investment of fish in cage fish farming. Yes. And all of them died. Just woke up and.
I don't know if you have that picture of the farmer who has lost a lot of money. It was estimated to be like around what is it? Is it
2.1 million?
2.7 million shillings in terms of investment.
Yeah.
Very interesting that nothing clear is actually coming out of whatever has happened. We are not even seeing the county government coming in. We are not seeing whatever is going around. We are not seeing that specific. You know, we don't have that image yet.
Kefri came in and tried to save the situation, but it was too late. You know, like Victoria is.
What happened? What was the phenomenon?
Oh yeah,
it was a phenomenon.
Yeah, it's a phenomenon where you see there's that oxygen dissolution, dissolved oxygen. Fish breathe through the dissolved oxygen, right? So there are times when oxygen is more dissolved up compared to the lower you go, the lesser the oxygen dissolution, right? But now what happened because of the stream, the water stream, movement of water, displaces the top water to the lower water. So these cage farmers actually they are floating fish cages. Yes. Since they are floating, they are actually on top. Yeah. So the water that is on top has a lot of oxygen dissolved.
Yes.
But now when we have that stream, the water stream, it displaces the water that is lower, goes up, which has very low oxygen. The one that is top goes. You see, like how you can mix water. You see how you can korogam chai, so that the water. That is why it's quite important for farmers to understand. It's very important for us to even teach some of these farmers, because there are a few things that you need to understand. Fish are very, especially tilapia. I can tell you, I can count the number of farmers who've woken up today and they're waiting to harvest probably in a week or two, find all their fish dead. It's because of something really small. And oxygen dissolution in water is very important for. So what happened is that the fish suffocated.
So is it, first of all, let me try and understand. So is it that the water level went down?
Not really the water level. You see, we have top
Yes.
part layer of the water and
Yes.
the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah.
So oxygen is more dissolved on top here. Than compared to the lower side.
Yes.
So when there is that stream, this is how water stream the stream.
Also, it's just like I don't know how I can explain. Like the way in the swimming pool, the water comes, it goes back to the boiler, to the mixer, and then comes out.
Yeah, so that's normally like even the oceans, even lakes have streams, yeah?
Yes.
Or how it
So it didn't take longer? Or is it, can we say that the cages were smaller for the
No,
quantity?
cages are normally static. They're static because these are people who've been harvesting over the years. But now, because of this, and in fact, these are things we are talking about. Climate change also is part of this, causes some of those streams.
Let's just see some of the images on about that. I mean, the farmer who was, let's just look at that and see. Yes, so that is the fish. I think there's other images as well there.
And then, by the way, people are thinking that they are swarmed up like that. Those nets are very big. They go deep. That's why the fish have sufficient.
For me, I looked at it and thought probably there were too many. Too many for that.
What they do is that's how they harvest them. You pull the thing and then they all come together. But once you release it, the net or where they swim, it's quite big. That net where you see that blue thing. Blue thing there, that is quite big. It extends.
So that actually is being attributed to climate change. Cage farmers in Lake Victoria have suffered enormous losses following the mysterious death of fish stock. Farmers in Siaya, let's just have that image there still. Farmers fishermen in Siaya, Kisumu, Migori, and Homa Bay counties are staring at major losses due to unfortunate incident in the lake, which experts attributed to climate change. What is the relation between that and climate change?
You see why we're having those streams, yeah? I don't know the best way I can explain what a stream is. See how the water can move, yeah?
Yes.
When you heat water, the lower part goes, the lower part goes up, and the upper part goes down.
Yes.
So it creates a stream, a movement of molecules, water molecules moving from one point to another because of displacement, yeah? So when this thing happens, yeah, the water that is less dissolved with oxygen moves up. So when it moves up, the fish do not get sufficient oxygen, and that's why they die. That is, it's quite complex to explain, but that is.
What do you think is the solution now for farmers who are actually there? What would you advise them to do?
To add oxygen is quite easy. You just need to have a pump and make sure that the water is sprayed. This is the information they did not have. You see, the problem is we wait for a disaster to occur.
Let's just put that image back because there's something that I'm trying to imagine that is happening. And as we look at that, let's also let's take a short break and then we come back and discuss more about this and to get more to understand more about it. Let's take a very short break. Yes.
koro dhi oling' e kona. Gidhi mabor.
Is that uh, if you look at the current situation of our climate, especially in Africa, or to be specific in Kenya, it is a climate that is so much wanting. It is a climate that actually, if we don't get things done in another way or in a new way, it will definitely assure we shall definitely be assured that there will be more increase in food shortages, and hence there's the need to adopt to the new ideas on farming, so that at least we try to have or to control these challenges of food shortages.
A Farmers Mid-Morning Show right here from County 034, and we are talking about COP27. What are your expectations, and what are the what again? I mean, if you match your expectations versus the agenda of the leaders out there, and who are these leaders? What are we expecting from them? As you can see in the bottom of your screens there, COP27 is going on. This is the last week. Started last week again, and what are your expectations of the UN COP27? Dr. You've said that you don't have huge expectations, but what is this specific thing that you have as an expectation?
Just as that nation story actually, I was very happy about the Maasai women. Just that story itself actually really motivated me. You know,
yes,
it's time people change. Change starts with you. These Maasai women have realized, hey, you know, if I can change on from me,
yes,
I stop these normal practices.
yes,
They've realized that they're wasting a lot of water. We're wasting a lot of water. Like right now, there's rain. We have rain. That's a rain. I was rained on when I was coming today morning when I was dropping my kids.
yes.
People are not harvesting rain.
Yeah.
It's not like they don't have money to buy dam liners or to just dig sand.
Especially, sorry to cut you short, but you say that it's not that they don't have money to do it. Why don't they do it?
They don't have the knowledge. They don't have the knowledge. The people sell goats, sheep every day here, and people make millions.
Good money, yes, they make a lot of money.
But you'll find that they're the same people who will sell them at 400 shillings during. They're the same people who will sell them at 400 shillings during drought, where during time of plenty, I think we don't think ahead. You know, money also blinds us, because when you have a lot of money, you don't think of, you know, building a dam for your goats.
You think of other things.
People will be dancing here at the clubs. They'll be filling the clubs in Kitengela.
Yes.
But when the famine bites, that's when people start
forget
complaining.
everything else.
Yeah.
Interesting. So over the weekend, last week actually, there was we had some series of meetings that we had. And one of the meetings that we had, I think, I don't know if a producer can be able to put up some of the images. We had this meeting with the Deputy Governor of Kajiado County. And the meeting was very interesting because one of the things that came out, it was actually awarding. He was the awarding under the ASDSP program. They're awarding farmers in terms of machinery to be able to use for that particular activities in terms of climate smart agriculture. They're doing some seedling propagation units in the different sub-counties as well. We had a lot of machinery, so I don't know if we'll have that images. If not, we'll be able to share that later on. And one of the things that came out very strongly is that there is need for farmers to come together in groups.
And it's true. You've seen what happened in Tarakaniti, where they decided to set their prices.
Yes.
To the if they come in groups, you know, they can even counter cartels.
Yes.
They can be able to come up with a universal language so that they can be able to have a bargaining power in terms of sales. And most important is getting information.
Yes.
Information is very, very important.
And you know, for him, what he said was very interesting. He said that there are very many farmers out there, but there are very few farmer cooperatives that are working.
True.
And I wanted to ask you on the same line of thought. Why do you think these cooperatives failed? Because we used to have very many cooperatives. Why do you think they failed? Or did they, or what happened?
I think we talked about this in one of our shows,
Yes.
where we talked about mismanagement,
Yes.
fund mismanagement,
Yes.
politics, and bad blood. You know, you see, we have a tendency of, you know, I want to, that capitalistic kind
Nimimi. Kama
I'm the
si
one
mimi
who wants
kuna-
to take charge of all the onions in Kisaju. Nobody else. That capitalistic kind of approach to think that's what's failing. People don't want to work together. You know, at the end of the day, you see people fail. Why is dairy farming doing so well? Just
Because
dairy
it's
farming.
doing really well in Kajiado County.
Yes,
Dairy
because
farming is doing really well.
because dairy farming has the best cooperatives in Kenya. All the dairy cooperatives are doing splendid work. As long as farmers are united and they work together, can be able to, you know, get a lot of things working. Even the bee farmers right now, they are doing well. You see,
Yes. In
farmers
fact,
are
there's a
doing-
cooperative that I want you to join.
I didn't tell you something, eh?
Yes.
I just came to learn that the government regulates beekeeping so much.
It wanted to.
It wanted it
Like
still
in-
in the it's still somewhere being cooked.
The
It will
government
come. It will come as a different bill or as a different. But it's there. Watch out.
Ni kama tunailima kidogo.
Yeah, very soon utaambiwa you need to be either you cannot be a bee farmer and a farmer at the same time.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
So as we wind up, there's something that we are also doing as a partnership with the UK Tech Hub, and one of the things that is coming out very strongly is the need for farmers to be together in terms of cooperatives, and not just about cooperatives. What we are actually aiming is and looking at is ways that we can be able to have affordable transport and logistics services, so that smallholder farmers can be able to group themselves, get affordable transport. One of the challenges that we've seen is transporting produce from farm to market.
True.
We have been discussing with some of you about that as an issue, and we have seen that it is something that we can be able to think through it, and we will be sharing more about what this campaign is all about. We'll be talking to some of you. We have been talking to some of you about the campaign. We are going actually in the phase 2 of the campaign, of the pilot, of getting to understand a little bit deeper, you know, in terms of what are the challenges that are there, what are the costs. We know the fuel prices have shot up. We are fearing that they might shoot up again today. What do you do when you go to the market in terms of the produce, in terms of transport? How much do you use? We'll be sending a questionnaire later on, just a poll that we'll be able to share in our groups, in our social media platforms as well. So also, if you'd like us to have you, if you are in some of the counties that we are carrying out the pilot, that is Nairobi, Kajiado, Mwea. That Mwea is in which county? Kirinyaga.
Yeah, it is
Kirinyaga County.
Yeah,
Yes, as Mombasa, Kisumu counties. We will be actually having interactions with you as farmers. If you have some transporters that are already that you're working with. Let us know who they are, how we can be able to have them in part of this pilot program. But also, if you also have buyers, we also have a linkage to some of the buyers of fresh produce that we'll be sharing. So if you'd like to be part of this, kindly send us a message on WhatsApp, that is on 0700 29 30 31, or you can actually call us on the same number as well, 0700 29 30 31, to get more information about that. Greenhouse gases. What are greenhouse gases? You say they're not from the greenhouses.
They're not from the greenhouses.
I thought labda it's part of the greenhouses. That is why they're tearing.
Wanasema these are gases that emit and reflect heat energy.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you like what happens is they emit and transmit. You see, for example, like carbon molecules. Yeah, they'll absorb the energy and we transmit it back to Earth.
Yes.
So it forms much of the energy cannot be lost in space. So it's covered in the atmosphere and reflected back to Earth. We have the likes of carbon, methane, even ozone. Do you know ozone is a gas on its own?
Yes. That's why the ozone layer got completely finished.
Yeah, nitrogen oxide. Some of those gases are the ones the chlorofluorocarbons which are emitted by industries. I think there's a very strict measure in emission of CFC gases through the Kyoto Protocol, the Paris Agreement. But it's very the more we release these gases, the more we form a shade on the atmosphere, on the Earth's atmosphere.
Yes.
And it's the lithosphere. So that the gases form some kind of we call this shade, so that energy cannot escape out to the atmosphere. It is retained and sent back. That's why it's called the greenhouse effect. Yeah.
Interesting. Now you have it.
I've tried to explain.
You've tried to explain in English.
In a very
simple English.
Yeah.
All right. Very interesting. So what really happened at some of the talks? We have a clip that we'll be sharing. A clip by Dominic and Samuel. Yes. So I think there's a clip that we'll be sharing right now on. I don't know if it's sustainable. Yes, I think we'll be sharing that clip right now on what is happening at COP27 as well. We have two that we'll be sharing right now. We start with the one for Dominic.
Stop dumping Western knowledge or Western ideas in Africa. You cannot develop a solution for Africa from a laboratory in Europe or in the States. In Africa, we have the solutions. What we don't have is the financing. There are so many innovations that will solve a lot of Africa's problems if only they could be financed. Our governments don't support local innovation. We have I don't know, someone asks you, we've had customers come here. We had one customer from a Kenyan who was working in South Africa came here and said that they like the technology, but they'd heard that it was from South Africa and they haven't seen it in South Africa. We said, no, actually it's from Kenya. And immediately their wallet went straight back in their pocket and they left. Kenyans don't trust Kenyans. We don't have any, Kenya innovation doesn't have any support from the Kenya government. So we need Africa to support African innovation. The solutions are right here. We need our education system to stop with the colonial education system where we're reading history books and stuff that is irrelevant to us today. We need to learn about what is relevant to Africa today. How do we get into, let's stop using farming as a punishment for the students. Go outside and dig the farm because you didn't do your homework. It's got to be looked at as a very dignified profession. We've got to stop with the chemicals, stop with the GMOs. That, I think, is the message we need to drive to our current government, not even at the COP27 event. And also our government we need to stop importing chemicals. Something in the region of 40 to 50% of the aggregate chemicals we have in our stores are banned in the countries where they are manufactured. How hypocritical is that? That you produce a chemical, it's banned in your own country because it's bad for the soil, bad for the water, bad for the people, but you're allowed to export it to a developing country like Africa or like Asia. I mean, it is ridiculous. If something is banned in the country of manufacture, it should be banned globally. The international world, the international trade should prevent anybody from exporting something that they will not use at home. It is criminal that they're being allowed to export stuff that they will not use at home themselves. Yeah, so we really need to focus on, we do have numerous resources that we can get ourselves out of poverty. We need political will, and we need the West to stop trying to dump technologies on us. I was at the Afro-Cities meeting. The Afro-Cities meeting was so expensive to attend that hardly any African exhibitors were there. All of the people were there, all the African delegates, all the governments sent their delegates to the meeting. I got a chance to present through a French organization. I was very, very happy that they allowed me. They were actually in Uganda, and they reached out to me and asked me if I would do a talk. I got a standing ovation when I demonstrated our recycle center in a PowerPoint presentation. Everyone else at that meeting was people from Europe, people from the States, dumping technology on Africa. Technologies that doesn't work for them there, and they think it's going to come and work for us here. It's all business. It's not about finding solutions. It's about making money out of ignorance of people. That has to stop. We need to start focusing on which solutions work, which ones can be scaled, and let's fix our own problems at home.
The thing is that if you look at the current situation of our climate, especially in Africa, or to be specific in Kenya, it is a climate that is so much wanting. It is a climate that actually, if we don't get things done in another way or in a new way, it will definitely assure we shall definitely be assured that there will be more increase in food shortages, and hence there is the need to adopt to the new ideas on farming, so that at least we try to have or to control these challenges of food shortages.
Welcome back to a Farmer's Mid-Morning Show. We've been talking about the expectations. We've had some of the videos from some of our guests who have talked about climate change, and now we want to just finalize and now get into the meatiest part of the discussion as we go through the last part of the show. We want to talk about climate change, what it is. Sorry, not climate change. COP27, what it is. Why is it that the rich countries, I don't know if it's resisting what they're doing, and then also what are the mitigation and adaptation adverse effects. That is a hot topic. Again, the other thing that we also want to do is that there is the International Court of Justice on Climate Change, what it is, what it's doing, and then there's also African leaders, African delegations, experts attending that. What do we expect from them? So, Dr. let us go into the deep. What is COP27 and why is it important?
COP27 is a subsequent global meeting by the UNFCCC, United Nations Convention of Climate Change, and it's that abbreviation is very long.
Yes.
Yeah, so 13 years ago, there was the Kyoto Protocol that brought about different countries in the world to discuss on global climate change.
Yes.
Part of the resolution is to form another body of UN tasked to coming up with policies that affect nations, especially in climate change. And from there, countries decided to, come up with agreements and policies. And from the Kyoto Protocol, it came up from the Kyoto Protocol came up the carbon credits, where each country was allocated carbon quotas. And the countries, each country had standardized carbon, where one can sell its carbon to another country if it has exceeded its limit. That's where the carbon trading came in. And most underdeveloped nations were supposed to get fundings from selling their carbon, not asking for money, selling your carbon, which really worked quite well. Came the Paris Agreement that now decided that though the Copenhagen and the Paris Agreement, which actually decided to have countries commit a certain amount of money, to developing nations to help them mitigate against climate change, because developing nations were really suffering and we can see them still suffering because of this drought. So each year this convention goes to deliberate on policies to see how far they've reached and how far they're going. And in relations to the 2030 global, the United Nations, what are they called? The 2030
SDGs.
The SDGs. Especially number 12.
Number 13.
Number 13.
But now let me ask. We have all these conferences. We had the Africa Climate Week that happened was it in where? In Gabon.
In Gabon,
What came out of it? Because we are seeing the same people at COP now.
No, they're the ones now who went to be quite instrumental in telling the world that Africa now has put its foot down, and this is the conditions that we are seeing riots and whatnot.
Now there's that now which now the private sector is doing in terms of and civil society are doing that, but we also have specific things that we can be asking for. What do you think African countries, let's just be specific, Kenya needs to ask from COP27, and how can we say it is a success on our part?
I mean, we've put on questions there. If I don't know, next time we'll there's a clip I will share with you guys. Maybe we'll play it tomorrow. Of this lady from Uganda, this young lady who actually asked the ministers from the developed nations on their faces, if you are you going to commit to funding developing nations? Put your thumbs up. And most of these ministers from the developed nations actually showed their commitment in setting aside funds. You see, not like all the country, not like all the developing nations are not setting aside funds. There are those developed countries that are supposed to put up substantial amounts, but they are not. But now we have put them to task now, because people are now seeing climate change effect. The effects are becoming worse daily. We are having problems if it's not in the Australian fire, if it's not North American, in California, the Californian fires, which are becoming worse. We're now seeing where it was in Mauritius last year that we had the first typhoon in Africa. Those things are very soon. You start seeing snow. It snowed in Johannesburg.
Johannesburg snowed.
It snowed in Johannesburg. These are the things that are very they're not supposed to.
Yes, and now that you're mentioning that, we have the International Court of Justice on Climate Change. What is its role, and how does it help the Global South?
It arbitrates on issues regarding issues that we are discussing about. Kenya can decide to take some of these countries to court based on the Kyoto Agreement or based on the Paris Agreement.
Is it another toothless thing like the ICC, or is it just
ICC has thrown guys in.
Thrown guys in, then release them.
And release them.
Is it just supposed to create fear?
Kind of. I mean, it just, like how chiefs used to, like chiefs right now. They want to just to be seen, at least kushtue kidogo that until you act. So as much as they are not, because some countries will say, like what Donald Trump used to do, we're the ones who are funding you, or you're threatening us, or we'll just cut funds.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Now we are going into the last Lala Salama, kipindi cha Lala Salama. We have three things that we'll be talking about: the Farm Girls Farm with Us campaign that we'll be sharing with you. We'll also be showcasing some of the seeds. I think we'll have the seeds brought in so that we can be able to see which are the seeds that we've been given that we'll start sharing. We will be sharing a form for you to fill if you want to participate in the Farm with Us campaign. Remember, it is a campaign that we are giving out almost everything free except your time. So you have to give us your time, but you also fill a form that is required for this. The other thing that we'll also be talking about is the proverb of the day. We should be talking about that. But before we go into that, Daktari, I am being told that there are more than 6,000 varieties of apples grown around the world.
Mm-hmm. True.
6,000 varieties.
6,000. And
Probably
probably.
Pink Lady.
And then, you know, there's somebody who actually contacted me one time and
Yes.
asked me, Robert, I've seen apple farming, yeah? Can it be done in Kenya? I was shocked. Told him, you know, lots of the fruit you're eating in Kisumu
Yes.
are coming from central Kenya.
Now, on that note,
Yeah.
we have
And do you know South Africa is one of the leading producers of apples in the world?
Now, on that note,
Yeah.
I wanted to ask. We have been told now we can climb an aircraft and go to like the way border matatu. We can go to South Africa without a visa.
Oh, yes, yes.
The visa, that trade has been opened.
Yes.
What does it mean for farmers?
Yeah, now you can now expand markets. Yeah, this can increase bilateral agreement, bilateral trade between Kenya and South Africa. You've seen there's a lot of opportunities in South Africa. There's a lot of advancement, especially in agriculture. But remember, there's also deficits. They cannot produce everything.
Okay.
So you look at the loopholes, the way China saw once we opened trade with
Yes.
China.
Yes.
They just look at the loopholes and they
But they
capitalize.
brought in everything.
Yes.
South Africa will bring everything because they also
No,
export
Kenyans
everything.
are way smarter.
So does that mean that we can also does it open up ways of working for Kenyans working in South Africa?
So long as it doesn't bring the normal conflicts that arise. Yes.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So again, we have some seeds but before that we want to talk about the proverb of the day. I don't know if you have the proverb of the day up. Yes. So we have the proverb of the day that says, knowledge is better than wealth. You have to look after wealth, but knowledge looks after you. Hey, Abu, just wait there, Daktari.
That should be a Nigerian or no? That's a very complex.
Abu did it.
Knowledge is better than wealth. Yeah? You have to look after wealth, but knowledge looks after you. You know, those people who have sleepless nights thinking about their money. Yeah.
So knowledge is better than wealth. You have to look after wealth, but knowledge looks after you. So when you have money,
in simple terms,
yes.
with knowledge, you can take care of your wealth. You don't need to. If you have proper knowledge, it will take care of you.
Interesting. In this aspect of climate change.
What do you mean?
In terms of knowledge, which kind of knowledge
yes,
do we need?
Our Maasai ladies have just demonstrated that they gained knowledge. Yeah, we are wasting too much water. They've gone to the desert. They've gone to the desert, and they've seen people cultivating.
Yes.
They'll come back here and they'll use
They will come and use their knowledge and
now that knowledge will take care of you, not you taking care of your wealth.
So some of these things is knowledge based.
Yes,
It's not
knowledge.
it's not something that we can say that we just know it ourselves.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. All right, for those who have been following our campaign in terms of what we'll be starting off, it's called Farm with Us campaign. We have our first batch of seeds that have been given to us, on this other side, that have given to us by Simlo Seeds. So we have some goodies here. We'll be sharing a form that you'll fill, and you can be able to participate from that. We have some of the seeds. For the first time, we actually got cowpeas, first generation.
Cowpeas,
You know, we normally just buy mekamuliwa. And so this is, yes. But also something that we were also told, just that we don't have the clip right now, but something that we were told at Simlo, attending the markup conference on vegetables and herbs conference at Safari Park last week, is that something that you should know as a farmer, to get genuine seeds, you scratch, there's a label down here, so you scratch the label, sijui wale wanakuanga na makucha refu kama wanaweza fanya hii. So you scratch, then you text this number to 1393 to confirm if the seed is genuine. So all the seeds we'll get for the campaign, hakuna mbegu kamwa. So we'll be sharing in our social media handles, as well as at in the evening drive with Jackie Moore, on how you can be able to now be part of this. If you're a seed company, if you're a service provider in the industry, we'll also get a form that you'll fill on what you can be able to do and be seen. Dr. Your last words.
We need to continue looking at our climate. Try to make your wisdom take care of you.
Yes.
Yeah, learn every day. Go to your phone. Don't just go to your Facebook and start tafting udaku. Try to learn every day. Make sure you try to learn something on your farming tips. Yeah.
Fantastic. Today is 14th November. It's the World Diabetes Day. And a very interesting message that is being sent out, that type 2 diabetes mellitus is a disease of food. Therefore, it is fixed in the kitchen, not in hospitals. Focus on eliminating the foods that made you sick instead of rushing to swallow your medicines. So we have to take care of our health.
Yes, and we can get our medication through food.
And that is now where it talks about knowledge.
Yes, knowledge.
This has been a very interesting and beautiful day with you all. Thank you for having tuned in. Tomorrow we'll be back. Keep on watching. Here at Farmers Media, we help you connect, learn, and grow. Have a beautiful day.